I welcome you all today for this working group session. We are extremely excited to announce the launch of latest version of QuickLaunch 7, Identity for You by You. On behalf of the entire QuickLaunch team, I would like to thank institutions like Roosevelt University, North Central Michigan College, Southwestern Oklahoma State University, University of Trinidad and Tobago, Brunel University, and many others who have joined us today. We shall keep the phone lines open, however, would request you to keep the audio on mute to avoid any disturbances. We would be pausing in between and during the end of the session to take up any questions. Feel free to ask questions as and when you have any. Before we start, we would like to go across the table and know how many of you are using QuickLaunch Admin Console currently to integrate new applications on their own. We do have Mike from Rutgers University, I believe, on the call, who've been constantly adding a lot of applications to their platform. Do we have anybody else who's been using the platform to add new applications?
This is Karen at Southwestern. We've added a couple.
And Karen, this is Enke. When we say the administrative access, these are the two screens we're referring to. So do you all log into QuickLaunch Admin Console as well as the Identity Provider Console is what the ask is. So it looks like you're saying you do have access to the Identity Provider Console, correct?
Yes, we log into the admin console.
Okay. And does this sound familiar or no?
No, it does not look like that.
Got it. Anybody in the room wants to add to that? Anybody has ever logged into this screen which we are highlighting on the call today?
This is Alex Meyer at North Central. I've been into that.
Okay.
And added a couple of
great
services. Yeah.
So we do have an acknowledgement from Dennis that he has added as well. So folks, let's get going. And we're going to start with why QuickLaunch version 7? Why did we prioritize? And folks, one of the biggest compelling reason why we really wanted to have QuickLaunch 7 up and running, and we've literally spent close to 9 months to get to where we are. So one of the biggest reasons were onboarding. What we mean by that is some of you have been with us for many years. Some of you are recent addition to QuickLaunch family. And you've seen improvement. We've been able to reduce the deployment cycle. But the challenge was, can we just bring it down to like, let's say an hour? Is that even possible? Most of you create tickets about doing your own branding, which means you want to change pre-login, you would want to change post-login. And at times there is a struggle there. Most importantly, we do have institutions. We've got Rutgers University, again, as an example. They keep sending requests. And Rutgers team, I want to be honest today on the call. What do? We tell you, pay us X number of dollars. It's going to fall into professional services bucket. And that basically makes us do most of the work. And again, the blame is not on you guys. I want to take that challenge on us. That platform was literally complex. There were too many entry points. One was QuickLaunch admin, one was identity admin, and it just became, over a period of time, really difficult to maintain and manage and let you do self-serviceability. Most importantly, how can we also automate security? How can you go with few clicks, enable technologies like adaptive authentication, multi-factor support, password reset support, first-time users within password reset, and most importantly, one of the newest additions we have in QuickLaunch portfolio is one-click provisioning, deprovisioning. How could you all go and do it with a bunch of clicks instead of spending dollars and dollars, and more important to that, time towards reviewing, testing, and then launching the product. So this QuickLaunch V7 is all about self-serviceability and enhancing institutional security. And obviously in last 1 year, lots of lessons learned on being able to handle the infrastructure better, being able to scale really well. And that's the journey which we have gone through. I'm going to quickly pause and see if that makes sense. Any questions from anyone regarding the self-serviceability? And we'll certainly be covering that at length today during the webinar. But before we continue, any questions? Does that all make sense? You could either speak up, and there is a chat option as well. You could use the chat option. All right, let's continue. I do have an acknowledgement that it makes sense. When is QuickLaunch version 7 available? It's going to be available in exactly 7 days from now. So we are proudly unveiling QuickLaunch V7 on today's call. August 1st is our go live date. That's when it'll be production ready. It's going through a series of stress testing and load testing and security testing to make sure we do have a certification available. If by some reasons we miss the date, we're planning to have the worst sort of a date to be like 10th of August, so no later than 10th. But the best date at which we're looking at launching QuickLaunch version 7 is August 1st. Now, would you be needing a migration to the new platform? The answer is yes. Are we going to be pushing you to the new platform? Instead of pushing, we really want you to pull the platform because it has got so much in it. And most importantly, what we want to do is, instead of migrating you as a project, let's also take the opportunity of what are the new features we have introduced. Is it really helping you save dollars? Because if yes, that's the biggest milestone, I'm going to say, specifically for Rockers and quite a few institutions who keep adding application. And most importantly, folks, one of the call to actions we have today is this gives you a free test environment forever, no questions asked. And some of you do have tests, but some of you do not. And that results in a lot of chaos wherein there is no change management. We just put stuff in production. You don't get time to test it, or you go through an application upgrade and suddenly it stops to function. So this environment gives you a test forever. And then obviously we're going to be migrating you to the new QuickLaunch version 7 platform. What's new? A lot of cool things. We mentioned about different entry points. So as QuickLaunch, we wanted to break the barriers. Why do we have so many entry points? Let's just have one. So there is simplicity in access, number one. Most importantly, App Store. If you have used current App Store, the feedback was not that great. And we really wanted App Store to be like a true App Store, like your iOS, Android app stores, Google Play, wherein you could simply, with a click, add an application. And current process, I want to be honest, was really complicated. There were just too many things involved. So how can App Store be done in a manner that it reduces the knowledge when it comes to specifically on the technology? What you also see is we have a guided path. So when let's say Ensign is a new member, if they join in, or I just saw Chip joining in, Chip is from Brunel University. If they've recently joined in, how can we tell them these are the things you need to configure basis what you have purchased? Current versions are not telling you new releases. Current version won't tell you, can you upgrade? Current version is not telling you when your payment is due. So Russell, since he's, for most of you, customer success manager, he's basically working with a lot of you. And why do we need that? I mean, technology has grown and a lot of things can happen within the product using the self-serviceable model. So today I'll show you a lot of those things as well. There's a new end user interface that we have introduced. And then I'm going to also look at spending a few minutes talking about the roadmap which comes with enhanced reporting. Again, Brunel is on the call. Rockhurst is on the call. We have quite a few institutions who kept demanding about the next release and the next versions on reporting. So we'll definitely be doing a segue into what the roadmap looks like. So with that said, folks, again, if there are questions, feel free to use the joint chat option available in the GoToWebinar. And what we're going to do is we'll get started. So for those who are looking at availing a free test environment forever, which I would absolutely recommend, after 1st of August, come back to the website and all you need to do is click on Start Free Trial. And let's time it. I today mentioned that we're going to look at setting up everything in an hour. So let's take the challenge. We don't have an hour. We have a few minutes left. So we're going to look at building this end to end. And now is on the call. Chip, I'm going to try using your branding if that sounds okay to you. So folks, prior to this, we used to create an environment for you. And now what I'm doing is you can self-create it for yourself. So I'm coming in, I'm saying I'm NK, I'm the president, I've given my phone number, and I'm saying this is demo.brunel.edu. So I just created a domain, demo.brunel, because I don't want to occupy Brunel's environment. And I'm saying, okay, cool, I can create an account and I'm giving my consent because new version is going to talk to you. And we expect a lot of marketing, meaningful marketing coming to you. So I just got a code, and what I'm saying is let's verify that. It says, sit tight, we're getting the environment ready. What are we doing behind the scenes? All the barriers which I showcased today, creating a QuickLaunch account, creating an identity account, creating a CAS protocol server, creating WS Federation, password reset, multi-factor, for those who have signed up for provisioning, deprovisioning. All of that has happened in last 10 seconds. I'm here. I'm being told to create a password for myself. I'm doing that now. And what you would see, which is going to be refreshing to you all, is a new getting started. We never had that. System says, hey, welcome to Brunel. You are NK. I can upload my picture. It says, NK, I've given you a starter plan. You can upgrade it. And folks, starter plan basically means you have every single feature from QuickLaunch available. And what we also have done really well is upcoming features are in the product telling you they're coming up. And I'm going to show you the glimpse. So the first thing which is coming up, which is already demarcated, is admin. What that means is Chip is from Brunel. Chip is saying, I have a team of 10 individuals, 5 from help desk, 2 from provisioning, 2 are single sign-on guys. Why should they be seeing each other's stuff? There is role-based access control. So Chip is saying, I'm delegating few users to do read-only administration, few users to be able to modify, add, update, delete, which makes sense. And a lot of you have asked this question, do you guys support role-based access control? That's the next item which is going to come to you with the roadmap. So that's the number one, which is when that comes in, system is going to let you add more administrators and give them the ability to manage what they should be doing instead of giving them a full-blown access to QuickLaunch administration. Next, add users. What have we done? With one click, you can now configure directories. How was it before? It was pretty clunky. Interface was not that great and lots of technology needed. This is the old screen versus this is the new screen. And some of you use QuickLaunch Password Manager and you used to configure directory at 2 places. You don't need that now. You just need it at one place, you configure it, you're good to go. What is coming up next? Being able to add users manually. You might not need it, but you might want to create like a parent account and tie them up with students and show them their students' grades or make them pay the bills and all. But most importantly, we've come across institutions that don't even have an Active Directory. And we used to say, you know what, we can't do much for you. But in the upcoming releases, how can we also give a cloud directory wherein they could do bulk uploads for the users in case if they cannot even afford an Active Directory? So let's continue. I'm going to click on Configure Directory. Let's look at how simple it is. With one click, add a directory, and I've saved the configurations. So you all know if there is a directory, you need a connection name. I'm going to call it Brunau AD. So this is my AD. I'm just giving it a name. I'm going to give it a password. I'm giving it URL. There is a search base that I need to give. So I'm just going to quickly complete that. And this process is way less cumbersome than how it used to be, and it's very well simplified. So I'm done. I can click on Test Connectivity. And as soon as I test it, it says connection is established successfully. Some of you might be thinking that you do have whitelisted QuickLaunch IP series. Things have made simpler for you. Now there is just one IP. Used to whitelist 16 IPs. So with this project, you'll be able to reduce your exposure to QuickLaunch network because now we have everything netted. And that also speaks about our internal security because now we don't have too many public access points to the outside world. So I'm done. Active Directory is created. I can save it. As soon as I save it, I have my first most important item done, which is directory integration. Let's go to the next item. And again, feel free to pump in the questions using the join chat option. Here comes App Store, very refreshing. Lots of categories, lots of downloads. So some of you who are technical on the call, you used to ask us, can we download your metadata? We used to basically construct one on the fly and give you. You can now download the metadata. You can download our certificates. So some of schools are banner, one click, add banner. Let's look at Office 365. Here comes Office 365. We've got schools using Desire to Learn. I'm just going to put that here. Let's add Google. I don't have Google here. Let's add, I think it is added at Gmail. I'm going to add School Dude, and I'm going to add one more. So let's add Canvas. So I just added in less than a few seconds, couple of applications, and you can now with one click configure. We'll talk about that shortly. At the same time, in the current version, there was no documentation. Now you can launch configuration guide. It gives you pretty much everything about the configuration, starting from what all steps do you need to follow. So you're good to basically follow this inline guide as well. So we're done with two. Watch the progress bar is obviously going up. Next is branding. So let's quickly get the branding done. I'm going to go pick up like the contemporary design. I mentioned to Brunau I'm going to use their theme. I was prepared to do that. So here comes one of the pre-background images for Brunau. I'm going to save that change. So I do have a background now done for Brunau. Let's also come in here, change the logo. I'm disabling the header. Choice is up to you. How would you want to roll about it? Where should the logo go? You can just link it up with the website. Pretty simple to maintain, manage now. So two changes done. I'm going to come to the footer. In the footer, I'm changing QuickLaunch to Brunau, and I'm saying it should go to brunau.edu as a website. 2019, I'm just going to make a few changes here. Save. So I'm done with few pre-login changes. Last but not the least, I mentioned that we've made technology really, really simple. Again, some of you have password managers, and it was nightmare to enable features like following. And we have support tickets wherein we had requests. Can we call forgot password something else? And we used to say, cool, that's a customization. But now it's up to you. You want to use all the features. You want to use some features. You can pretty much control all that. You can also put an app store link in case if you already have mobile apps. So I just enabled 3 links, all done. One last piece I'm going to quickly do is come back here, and I'm just going to put a logo on the login box as well. So let me upload one logo real quick, which is right here. And I'm going to make a final save change. And that's it. I'm not changing the blue colors. I know now has got a yellow on the website. So I'm just going to leave that for now as is. So I'm done with the changes. Pre-login is done. Let's go to post-login. I'm going to go to change theme, pick up the new theme. You can always have different themes. And again, folks, with this initiative, when we see any one of you demanding for a different theme, we owe that to you. We're going to make sure this drop down continues to go up. So coming back here, what I'm going to do is upload the logo yet again for now. Done. Change the colors. I'm just going to keep blue right now just to ease it up a bit. So I'm just keeping rest everything else as is. Actually, you know what? It's pretty simple. I'm just going to pick Brunau's colors. So here comes Brunau's color from the website. I'm just going to go back and put that here and submit that change. So what you've seen me doing is I actually literally spent a little longer on the branding, which is ideally quite simple stuff, but the difficult stuff has become really simple. So let's come to security. Some of you, most of you use password manager, multi-factor, quite a few other features. Let's see how they've made that simple. So coming to multi-factor, security questions enabled. I need users to answer 4 questions and respond to 2. Here comes my questions that I've already picked in from, and I'm saving this change. So my questions are done. Email, I'm enabling email. Primary email, read from Active Directory. It's mail attribute update. And I'm saying secondary, I'm saving within QuickLaunch. We have a new feature, which is blog domain, so that if somebody is trying to put in their official email, they would never get code there. So how can we also blacklist that? I'm enabling true SMS. Phone comes in, picking that up from an attribute called mobile in Active Directory. Done. So 3 factors literally in few seconds are enabled. We used to ask you guys to pay like $5,000 for YubiKey because it was not this simple. Now you enable it, you have it. You only pay for YubiKey licensing, which is way inexpensive because you're not going to be using YubiKeys for every individual. It's typically for folks having keys to the kingdom. And as we speak, we are constantly adding more factors. So from in 2016, having 1 factor, we have 4 factors. Before end of this year, we are also going to add 2 more factors, which we'll talk about as part of the roadmap. So my multi-factor literally just got done. I'm coming to now the policies because I need to define, am I using a policy for a password reset or not? And I'm saying, yes, I do want to use it. I'm creating a policy for students. And I'm saying students should basically go through security questions, required, optional, optional. So I just created one. So that's done. Let's create one more policy for staff, for the group, which is coming in, by the way, from Active Directory. And I'm saying, let's go a little casual on staff, but we're going to go hard on admins. We want to make sure they're protected. So these are the policies just for the password reset. But what about somebody trying to compromise your login? What are the policies there? So now you're going to have a new engine, which is SSO Policy Manager. And with one click, that's enabled. And you're now adding a new policy for SSOs. Maybe you can define never, which is not a good thing, always, which is a good thing for, again, folks having keys to the kingdom, but you might want to do it on suspicion activities. So I'm creating a policy for student only at suspicion during suspicious events. And I'm saying if there is a suspicion on students, make them go through just one of the factors. That should be more than enough. And I'm enabling geo. I could enable time zone And I could also go to custom attributes to figure out all the other things. For example, user agent, language, time zone, offset, or you can keep that as recommended, which is governed by team at QuickLaunch. So done with one more policy, and I'm gonna now add one last policy for staff as well. So let me make it at every login for staff, and I'm just calling it a staff policy, and I'm saying this time, instead of 3 factors, there are 4 factors. Let's introduce a new one called YubiKey and save it. So we literally are almost getting close to the finish line. And now I'm saying I'm going to use first time user, which should basically say, hey, can I have your user ID? And let's test it with a valid user. You can test it, save it, and you're basically set to rock and roll. So your profile is now saying 100%. Time is 1:28 Central, and in less than 20 minutes, I am done. And I'm clicking on launch. As soon as I click on launch, system basically takes me where I'm supposed to go. I'm just going to copy that URL. So another point to note is now you do have a custom name pre-constructed so that those who are doing testing, early adopters, you don't even have to procure a certificate. So it says SSO now demo, I'm done, my pre-login is done. I have pretty much all the links up and running, and in 20 minutes we have the setup ready to rock and roll. Now what I'm gonna do is, let me quickly create a brand new user. I'm just gonna get that going with the name Chip. He's on the call, and we'll basically show a full product walkthrough in regards with what we just ended up doing. So I'm going to create a new user, Chip, giving Chip my personal email so that I can show you all the multi-factor bells and whistles. Almost there, and I'm making Chip student for now, not a staff member. We can always do a role change. And when the group and the roles gets created, what I'm going to now do is go back and try to log in. So let's look at Bernal. I'm going to click on first time user, and I'm hoping, and as you can see, can I have your user ID? System picked it up well. And it says set up a password. I think I did not save multi-factor rules. Small mistake, sort of intentional. I wanted to show you product did not pick it up. So I'm going to look at going and fixing that back again. So let me go back. My team is saying I forgot to basically do the multi-factor configuration, saving of that. So, and team, correct me if I'm wrong there, team at QuickLaunch, is that something which I missed?
Yes, NK, I think we missed that.
Okay, I am just gonna get that going. Okay, so I think I missed one small piece, which is going back to user self-registration. I forgot to enable one small piece, but catch team at QuickLaunch. Thank you for that, and I just did that. And I'm gonna go back, rinse and repeat. So let's repeat that once again, and hopefully this time it should work. And this is my first V7 demo, so I apologize for that. So let's get going. I'm going to take the URL here, which is SSO demo Bernal. Come back here, brings me to the pre-login page. Click on first time user, pretend to be Chip. And as soon as I do that, here you go. It says, Chip, I know you from email, SMS, which option you would want to use. I'm saying I'm going to use SMS, and it should send me a one-time text which just came in. Here you go. And I'm ready to set up a password for myself for the first time. So this is now the first time user feature. which is in action, created the password. And I apologize for the color combination. I did not pay that attention much, but you could always define the color combinations yourself. And I'm going in and logging in as Chip. As soon as I log in, system is saying, Chip, this is your first login. Welcome to Brunel, but you need to tell me who you are, complete your profile, which is really good. As a student, in case if you really have mandated few factors, they'll have to go and complete their profile before their journey can continue. So I'm just going to quickly fill these responses correctly so that I can show you when profile, which is already done. So I'm going to click on going back to security. My email, my phone number is already added to the system. I'm clicking on going back to my applications. And finally, I get to see all the 5 applications which were added. You could obviously define the role-based access control as well. And this is the new look and feel that we have added. So these deep links, single sign-on, these are all searchable. You can define who can see them. You can also, with the latest product, automated provisioning, literally provision access to Canvas or Office 365, attach licenses to the students, faculty, and staff, and pretty much manage that end-to-end. What I'm going to do is click on log out, pretend that I don't remember password as Chip, come back in here, click on the forgot password. System says, can I have your username? And I'm saying this is Chip. It says you need to now go through questions, which I've just answered. Pick one more factor. So again, folks, it's really, really simple, really well done. All those barriers we have tried removing wherein technology was really complicated, and we really wanted to simplify this. So that's something which we have done, and you have seen literally in the last 25 minutes, product being up and running on the web, publicly available, with pretty much all the product lines and actions. I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions, any feedback with V7 that anybody would want to share before we look at doing a deep dive into what the roadmap has for us in 2019. So folks, feel free to either speak up or use the chat option to put in the questions or the feedback. Do you all feel this is the right track? Is it solving problems? Any comments, questions, concerns would be highly appreciated. We have a question from Chip. Is this upgrade free for current users? Chip, we are getting obviously a test environment forever available to you at no cost. Upgrade also is at a very low number. Because it gives you lots of bells and whistles, and honestly, there's a little bit of a work involved initially to migrate you. So the numbers are really low, subjective to the number of users you have, and your customer success managers would connect with you and tell you, number one, when can we schedule it? Number two, what is this upgrade going to cost you? Any other questions, comments from folks who've joined us on the web conference? Okay, we'll continue. So I mentioned role-based access control is going to come up. Then I also mentioned we'll be able to show you upgrades from the product. So let's quickly look at that and look at how that is going to work. So when you log in, let's say Brunel comes in, and let's look at a story, and this is going to be very appealing. When Brunel comes in and they're paying currently for, let's say, QuickLaunch, we want them to be able to see, okay, you're on a, let's say they started at a free plan versus basic versus premium. So you'll have transparency to figure out where you are and what do we recommend basis what you have. And if you increase the number, it'll also tell you what that thing is going to cost. You can also download your existing contracts. So lots of insights into upgrading of your environment is what we are paying attention to. And with that, we got to launch payment gateway between Q3 2019. And again, the idea is if you've decided you would want to buy a feature, why do we really need to have a middleman there? Why can't we truly automate that? Upgrade recommendations, product releases, the multi-tenant cloud directory, and most importantly, enhanced analytics. That's coming up. So some of you, I think each one of you would want to figure out what do we mean when we say enhanced analytics. So I'm going to shortly share my screen. The envisioning was done, working with lots of you, and the feedback was given to us in regards with what the reporting should be when it comes to analytics. So what I'm going to be doing is sharing my screen shortly with you and show you what are we doing with analytics. So here comes the new QuickLaunch V7 analytics due before end of this year, wherein again you'll continue to have the heat map. Invalid user attempts would start showing up in red color so that you know from which part of the world you're getting invalid access, because you might want to drag and drop that country, city, state, and blacklist it. Total number of users, unique login failures, top logged in device, top apps, all that is going to continue. These are the new additions. Is self-password happening, or most of the calls are coming via help desk? We want to know that, because if most of the calls are still landing on help desk, this tool is not working. Something is wrong. Which factor is doing wonders? What is the sign-in history for each individual? Which factor was utilized? You could always click on even history and figure out last 7 days history for that individual. So if I get a help desk call, I can also say, do you remember when was the last time you logged in? What factor did you use? So there are a lot of analytics which we're going to look at providing. And this was a special demand wherein time, device, browser, IP address, MFA used, all that we are making it available with the ability for you to be able to download it. Invalid user attempts, who they are, because you do want to use another feature from QuickLaunch called as Shield to blacklist in case if you're seeing too many invalid attempts coming in from a particular IP address or a device or a browser. So lots of insights which is going to come to you, which we're going to be providing. This was again an envisioning diagram. Now you see that the reality is exactly the same. So even via envisioning, we are looking at making it exactly real, like the way you see the envisioning screen. The entire password reset is going through a revamp as we speak. We're going to have in-page designs, no pop-ups, much prettier interface. So in security questions, emails, phone, YubiKeys, all that is going to go through a complete revamp. And here is the RBAC belt, which backbone I was talking about. So you would be able to figure out, okay, cool, I'm creating a new role called as admin. They should be able to do following. So that control would be with you, how many admins, sub-admins, application manager, provisioning manager, help desk resources. You'll be able to do all that on the fly from here. When it comes to password reset, this is something which is already launched. What this is I call help desk picks up the phone, and let's quickly do that. It's not going to take that long. So what I'm going to do is, let me go back to the password reset window. I'm just going to go back to my administrative console. And if some of you are not using this feature, this is really well done. So what I'm going to do is click on Password Manager. Within Password Manager, what you would have here is a place called Help Desk, and you can, it's not configured right now, so I'm going to quickly go and configure that in less than a minute. So I'm just testing that with the account that I created. I hope that's good. Adding the attribute and then saving it. Going back to help desk brings me here, and I'm saying I'm Chip, and it says cool, look up. So obviously you're gonna need more than what I just did. But the point is you can look up for the users, see their questions, but most importantly, if Chip has proven he is what he's claiming to me, and I'm convinced, now I'm not going to give him a password. I can just say trigger password reset email. And this guy sends email to personal email which says, hey Chip, please reset your password using this link, which is valid, by the way, only for 15 minutes. So the catch is I'm doing a reset as Chip, branding would be you, and then I'm now ready to rock and roll, and in 5 minutes this page expires. So security obviously is getting to the next level, wherein I'm not getting convinced and giving a default password and making my life more problematic at an institutional security level because I'm not giving any default passwords. Folks, I'm going to quickly pause. I know there are a bunch of questions. Russell, if we can go, if we can start going through the questions, that would be great. And folks, that's basically at a very high level that we wanted to cover. I'm going to give a quick run through on the roadmap before I start taking the questions. So we are also coming up with two-factor at an application level. What that means is if somebody clicks on banner admin, that's when system should challenge. Otherwise, do we really care about it? We are adding more applications to the App Store. Target is by Q4, we're going to have 1,000+ applications. It is a time-consuming process because we end up doing a lot of documentation, working with each one of you. And then we are also looking at launching desktop single sign-on. You did end up seeing enhanced analytics. Those who would want to participate in that can be part of the group. We do have a group and community for analytics because we expect you to sign off before we think about developing something. So all these are being developed working with each one of you. End user facelift, you've seen that happening. We're also coming up with a mobile app with the push notifications. And something which is already up and running is Smart Assistant, so that you can wake up Siri, you can give it a command, connect me to Brunel Help Desk. System says, you're connected, how can I help you, Chip? And you in response says, I'm not able to log in. And then it is truly automated. So how can we break the barriers again on help desk dependency, use a power bank at QuickLaunch and put a Smart Assistant, either voice or chat, on top of the product and make it really awesome for our end users from a user experience standpoint. We are also coming up with Call Me, which means your phone would ring. It'll prompt you to press #1, and then it would understand this is you, device is you. And we just started doing partnerships on the biometric side of the house. We're talking to a few companies, the RSAs of the world, Semantic Whip, quite a few other companies to get relationship going so that those who are interested in taking security to the next level and would want to introduce hard tokens, we could do that as well. And most importantly, this is something which we have not discussed. Nobody wants to do it, but why can't we do password-less authentication with factors getting to the next level? And if we don't have passwords, we're not dealing with resets, we don't need help desk to do those resets. There's a lot that we can do. So those who feel 2020 could bring password-less authentication with quite a few factors, we're up for that challenge as well on the password reset. Provisioning, deprovisioning, we've completed Banner to Active Directory to O365 to Google already. We're now doing Colleague. That actually went live on July 2nd. PeopleSoft, we have partnered with Willem Consortium, and we're going to be doing PeopleSoft. So those who have not seen QuickLaunch provisioning, deprovisioning, send a request to Russell. We'll schedule a meeting for you guys, and we'll start showing you how we can also come and do provisioning for all the user constituent, along with making sure that accounts are getting deprovisioned at the right time as well. So those are a few items coming in from the roadmap. I'm sure questions are going to be around sharing the deck and the recording. We'll be doing that, and those who would want to collaborate on any of the roadmap item, please go through the roadmap, let us know which item you would want to sort of pilot with us, and we can add you to the pool, and then you can collaborate, work with us. And at this time, looking at the clock, I'm going to open it up. Russell, let's go through the questions, please.
Sure, absolutely, Neeraj. We do have a question from Ronak. He says, how do you source the password resets through help desk data?
How do you source password reset through help desk data? Ronak, could you please elaborate that? You mean your existing help desk data, the question bank and all that? Because what you saw me going through was every user has their profile within QuickLaunch, and once their profile is set up, we can give you help desk view, which can look up through the data, and help desk can then take a call that, yes, I know this is you. I'm going to send a link personally to you on your registered email or cell phone. That way, if it's even not me, I'll get an email and I know like something happened and I can request for that. So Ronak is saying I typed that and then you answered it within a few seconds. Awesome. So we're good. I think Ronak, we did answer that question. Russell, let's go through the next question, please.
Sure. We currently do not have any more questions on the chat. I'm going to open, the lines are open for everyone. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask if you have any specific questions on what NK just presented today.
And I do see Chip as a question, and I think, Chip, this is a really good question, folks. Chip is saying, this is all process setup improvement. What is the value for me as Chip? So Chip, what you're seeing is end user interface is marching towards AI-driven approach. You see this notices coming up. You see like the sorting coming up. The current product has got so many pop-ups everywhere, like the password reset pop-up. All that is going to go. Mobile app is coming up. Push notifications are also part of it. New factors we've added. So I feel there's a lot of value. And most importantly, it's not just a facelift for processes, it's a complete technology facelift. The entire Kibanas and Elasticsearch and the highly scalable environment, the Amazon S3 buckets, we've introduced a lot of new technology, which would give you much better performance as well. So I feel this is blessing from all the angles. And at the end of the day, I mean, when you're looking at onboarding a new application, you can save $1,500. Why not? Because within this small group right now, we have so many of them paying as and when they're looking at onboarding, because there was just no way for them to know how to get the applications integrated. So I strongly feel this should help offload a lot of manual labor, which we were doing, at the same time takes the user experience to the next level. We have opened up the lines. Any other questions from those who have joined us on the webinar today?
So what will be our timeline for getting this migration done?
So Karen, 1st of August is the general availability, and we totally understand back to school starting off, so we're not saying join that queue right now, but idea is this time we wanted to be proactive and inform about the features. So what we would want to do is set up a follow-up meeting, review with you. Are there any other items, any facelift, pre-login design changes, post-login design changes? Is this going to let you do some changes, if at all? That way you can prepare your communication plan. How long this upgrade is going to take, if that's another question for some of you. It's like less than 2 to 3 working days. We just need to move you from one to another. And let's say some of you are considering this just as an upgrade. You don't want to make any changes, Apple to Apple migration. We could do that as well in like less than a week's time with the testing and everything. So this should be fairly simple. We have already started receiving migration requests. So Russell will follow up with each one of you, put you in a bucket basis the timelines that suit you. And we are looking at starting the migrations by mid-September to this new platform. But the test environments would be available to you starting 1st of August. Any other questions? Go ahead.
What kind of disruption in services are users going to experience?
There is going to be no service disruption. Just the way we took you guys to production launch, we took a maintenance window of approximately 4 hours for each one of you. I think, started at, like, for some of you, 2 a.m. in the morning, ended at 6 a.m. in the morning. That's the only disruption during the migration, nothing else. And we'll be owning most of it. So 4 hours of maintenance, which will let you plan up in advance. So we would not like just come up with the date. We'll work with what date works best for you and your team and get you up and running on the new platform.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
But you said the platform
Dennis, currently, no. We do have a question. Is there a deadline for this migration? No. And again, I don't want to consider this just as a version upgrade. A lot of new features would then continue to become available. So let's say you don't want to migrate. We're not calling it end of life for QuickLaunch version 5, at least till July 2020. But there would be, moving forward, no net new development on the current platform. We'll definitely do bug fixes, keeping the lights on. But let's say you like provisioning, you want to move on provisioning, it's on the new platform moving forward. You like the new interface, you like, let's say, a call me or a push me, which is going to come in, it'll be a new platform. So automatically will require you to implement version 7. We do have another question. If we are in the implementation process now, will we be able to get V7? Great question, Roland. And I would say absolutely yes. So let's review that, and basis your launch date. If you're looking at launching sometime early September, D-Day should be moving you to the new platform, absolutely. And I will communicate that to Russell. We'll take a note of that. So those under implementation can certainly go to the new platform so that in the next couple of months, you're not going through another version upgrade. Any other questions for the team at QuickLaunch? Okay, wonderful. Good.
We do have one question from Ronak. He says, since we are looking at implementing MFA, would version 7 just be included with implementation?
It would be, Ronak. That's good, right, correct catch. So that will be, and I would again recommend getting into the new platform, since you're already going through another product enablement and you're implementing multi-factor. So it is absolutely advisable to hop onto the new platform and use the new platform at its full capacity.
So what kind of cost is going to be associated with this upgrade?
Karen, again, I mean, I never wanted to throw a number, but anywhere between like a $250 to a $2,500. It's not a crazy number. We're just trying to take the number of hours which we're going to spend on this. So we're not going to look at pushing a big number to you. So it should be a pretty inexpensive affair for everyone. And again, like, somebody wants to use it, they cannot pay it till the next budget. We're going to be really flexible for you all. We want you to use the new product and technology instead of thinking about this as yet another version upgrade.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, great. I think that is it. These are the questions we have. We hope this was helpful. Again, we're extremely excited about using the new platform, lots of new features coming up. As an action item, we're going to be sending you the recording from this meeting. We'll also give you the deck. Please go through the roadmap, let us know if there are any items you would want to partner, collaborate, work with, and we'll be happy to take this forward with you all. With that said, this is QuickLaunch team signing off. Wish you all a great rest of the day. We'll stay connected. We'll continue working with you all. And thank you, each one of you, for taking our time and meeting with the team at QuickLaunch. You all have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You all have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.